It was jubilation across Nigeria on Saturday night when the Super Eagles faced their old foes and arch rival, Cameroon, in the last 16th stage of the ongoing African Cup of Nations, beating them 2-0 to progress to the quarterfinal of the competition. Arise correspondent Aaron Akrejola joins me now to let us in on the mood across Abidjan, where they are. Hello, Aaron. Hello, Aaron.
Good evening to you, Doctor. It's still afternoon here in Afcon because we are certainly 1 hour behind, but it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, the Super Eagles dominated the indomitable Lions of Cameroon yesterday. The Eagles took out the Lions of Cameroon. But now that we have qualified for the quarterfinals, we have Angola. So is this the beginning of a new trend by the Super Eagles as they look for the fourth trophy in the African Cup of Nations? First, are you excited, or you just think, well, this happened by accident?
Doctor, you know, I've been calling this, and you did not believe me, and you rather chose to believe what John Fashanu actually had to say. And finally, it is actually coming home. It's actually beginning to unravel what we have been saying right from time, that if these players do carry the necessary fire in their belly, go into fixtures of this magnitude, with the tactics of the coach, one thing is certain: victory is guaranteed. And I look at that and I say to myself, what happened yesterday was no fluke. What happened yesterday had been brewing in the works, a term we use in Nigeria very often. It's been in the pipeline for so long. We've always known that the team had it in them to be able to go places. All they lacked was the necessary fire, the necessary motivation, the necessary ginger, the necessary spark. And on the day they delivered, it might not have been celebrations here in Abidjan, because part of the problems that the Elephants of Ivory Coast are actually facing right now is also stemming from the Super Eagles. It was the Super Eagles that opened the floodgates of goals and defeats they actually suffered. So certainly they will be looking at the Super Eagles with crossed eye, literally. But I must say that reports we had back home totally said Nigerians were happy with the Super Eagles, because on the day, the Super Eagles put in a masterclass performance. It might not have been all shining, it might not have been all glitz and glamour, but when you need to play football, you need to defend astutely, and you need to dominate the midfield, and when given the opportunity, you bury the ball in the back of the net in the final third. And that is exactly what the Super Eagles did. A masterful performance from them.
Well, yes, it will be very difficult to argue with that. And people have been praising Ademola Lookman, Osimhen, who yesterday, as you sports journalists say, was unsung, and also Calvin Bassey, and of course Lookman Ademola scoring a brace. But what did Jose Peseiro, what did he do differently? Was it mainly about the change of the goalkeeper? What is the formula that provided that impressive performance? And do you think the same strategy?
Doctor, let's start it off. Yeah, Doctor, let me say this here. For the first time since his tenure began as the gaffer of the Super Eagles, Jose Peseiro knows his squad, and he's been unforgiving about that. He's been very ruthless about how he has gone on in selecting the squad, because there are still players that are out of the code. Terry Murphy would have been wishing that he would have gotten game time right now under his belt. Kelechi Promise Iheanacho started off injured when the tournament began, but right now he is full of faith. He's bidding his time, he's waiting for his time, but the coach has stuck to his guns. A 3-4-3 formation has been the masterstroke that has literally delivered 3 clean sheets in 4 appearances at this particular Afcon. And you look at that, he has stuck to that particular formula. It might not have given the Super Eagles enough goals. It might not have garnered a lot of flair going forward. But one thing is certain: when you do not concede goals, you actually stand a better chance of winning games. And that has been the winning strategy for the man. And I've been saying, long may it continue. because at the moment, players like Frank Oyeka, players like Alexander Iwobi might not get the plaudits, might not get the applause, might not get the rousing ovations, but these guys are doing the dirty work to ensure that they close down the ranks, they ensure they make the midfield very, very narrow and unplayable. I must say, the coach has been literally unsung and has been spot on with his tactics in this particular competition, and I don't think he will be changing. Save the fact that one man, Stanley Nwabali, is injured. Save that. He will be sticking to his starting 11 from start to finish.
Aaron, yes, Nigerians jubilated yesterday, but some have said, why even if we beat Angola, there are some other teams that we have to watch out for. For example, Senegal. I think Asisatu Oshuala, raised that in a tweet on social media, where she said, Senegal. Senegal has the best record in this tournament so far, in the group stages, and people expect Senegal to also do well. Do we have to worry about Senegal when we meet Senegal in terms of skill set?
Doctor, the truth is this: Senegal have been very impressive. The Teranga Lions have really announced themselves into this particular competition. But it's no surprise they've been perennial overshooters when you look at how they've played since 2017 Afcon till date. So what they're actually showing with Alo Cisse, the coach, is no surprise. But the truth is this: you look at the record of Senegal, they've scored more goals than we have. But the truth is this: they've only conceded 1 goal in 3 games. Nigeria has conceded just 1 goal in 4 games. And noting that the Equatorial Guinea team that actually scored the only goal against the Super Eagles, we made them look ordinary in that particular game. And look at what Equatorial Guinea are doing in this particular competition. At the moment, all things being equal, if the permutations are actually right, we don't have to worry about Senegal until the finals of this competition. If they themselves can knock out all their opponents before them to get to the finals. In the immediate future, we know that if the Super Eagles do win their game against Angola, which I'm sure they should be able to overcome Angola in 90 minutes or 120 minutes, as the case may be, one thing is certain: the Super Eagles will be taking on the Atlas Lions of Morocco in the semi-finals. So that is what I will worry about, because Morocco are no pushovers. We saw what they did at the last World Cup in Qatar. So they are no pushovers, but they themselves, they've shown that they are not as fluid as everyone expected them to be, because they struggled in their group phase against DR Congo. We would have expected them to struggle against DR Congo. They struggled against a very lowly rated Chipolopolo of Zambia. They literally had to dig in deep to be able to get that particular win. And you look at that and you say to yourself that the Super Eagles will fancy their chances against anyone, be it Morocco, be it Senegal, or anything that comes their way. At the moment, we have a winning formula, and that formula is still being used, and I don't think the coach will be changing anytime soon. Bring on anybody.
Thank you very much, Aaron Akerejola, and thank you particularly for your optimism and your patriotism. It will have been strange for you not to support the Super Eagles, being on the ground there to report the entire tournament and your home team, in this case, the Super Eagles. Well, thank you very much. Take time out to enjoy Cote d'Ivoire. A lot of fun out there. Thank you very much indeed.